There are 3 words that increased my clients' conversions, case acceptance, from 85% to 100 consistently. Do you want to know what they are? I want you to think about the way you are going through your consults right now. Consults are everything. It's our lifeline of our practices. New patients, of course, we need to bring in new patients, and then we need to convert them. And if you've been following my work, I help women doctors build boutique practices. You know that I teach that boutique practice is a practice that's low volume, it's high fee, so you're charging more than you're charging right now. And the way you're doing this is because you become known as an authority in something very specific in your niche. Then you're able to increase your fees because you're delivering very specialized treatment, more specific than just having a specialty. And then you learn how to convert patients at 90 to 100%. You're going to have a boutique practice because you're going to have constant demand for that specific niche that you deliver. And you know my power method of how to convert patients at a high rate. So you have the revenue that you want. You see 2 times, 3 times fewer patients than you're seeing right now without losing on the money, and a lot of the time growing the money. You have smaller staff, so it's a lot fewer people to manage, a lot fewer systems, simplified systems, so you can finally breathe and have your $5 million practice, $10 million practice work in 3-4 days. So how do you convert patients at 95 to 100% with just 3 words? I want you to think about the way you do your consults. Are you rushed when you walk in your consult? Are you behind? Do you prepare for your consults? Do you even have time to look at their x-rays or pictures? Or is your salesperson, treatment coordinator, front desk, office manager is looking at you, trying to make an eye contact as you're jumping in the clinic from chair to chair, tapping their foot, looking at the clock, like, doctor, we're here, we're waiting, let's go. Are you coming in there with this, oh God, I hope they start. I hope they say yes. Is part of you trying to please them and appear likable and minimize anything that's going on in their mouth so that you don't scare them? Do you use language like a little bit, slightly, kind of, it's going to be okay? Do you feel like you're their cheerleader and a motivator, or do you feel like an authority and a doctor? I give this example to one of my private clients that really helped her. The way I teach exams is my revolutionary method that made me so known in this world, and I call it the doctor-led exams. And the way why it's so different is because you're being taught to outsource to your salesperson consults. They have to do the quote-unquote selling. And that is the biggest fallacy. You as a doctor hold a lot more authority, not a lot more. You hold all of the authority versus your salesperson. That's why patients are calling and constantly asking, but what does the doctor say? Can you ask a doctor? And you're always frustrated because you're so busy because you're in the volume model. But let's go back to the consults. You have a lot more power in your consults to help the patient make a decision, help them say yes. And not every patient needs to be a yes, right? Let's just practice healthy discernment. But most patients are there if they need treatment. They're there because they want to say yes to you and to your practice. That's why they're there. Now, how you approach consults is very important. If you are walking in there rushed, if you look at them as another crown, as another root canal, as another braces or Invisalign case, you've already lost that case. I wanted to let this sink in. If you're rushing, if you're just seeing them as another procedure and not a human being in front of you that is there for a reason, you've already lost the case. How do you find out their chief complaint? You are training your front desk, you're training your TC to get a detailed history, but 9 times out of 10, patients are not telling your salesperson the stuff that they're going to tell you as a doctor. So all this training and all this outsourcing does not get you the actual meat of what you need to hear in order to help them say yes. So when you're in the consult room, from the moment you are greeting them and just making small talk and you're jumping into a clinical exam, I want you to pause and really ask them why they're there. And the first three things they're going to tell you are going to be superficial reasons. The dentist referred us, this tooth hurts, I saw your ad, I found you on Google, but why? But what's beyond that? But what about this? And the three words that they help my client instantly increase conversions from 85% to 100 month after month are tell me more. Tell me more. Your patient will tell you something. Don't just jump to the next thing. Don't just put your gloves on. Look them in the eyes and say, tell me more. Then they're going to tell you 2 sentences. Tell me more. Why? You want to really listen. We live in a society where people don't really listen. We just go from one thing to another. Everything is about efficiency. Everything is about maximizing our time. And we're at a time where patients are at their highest of discernment when it comes to choosing the dentist, choosing the procedures. Again, like I said, it's not a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. This creates patients that take responsibility because they're really involved in the decision. That also means that you have to take time to actually listen to them. And I'm not talking about the generic connecting and if they have kids and you have kids and you talk about holidays. I'm not talking about this generic stuff. It feels off, it feels forced, and so they feel the same way. But when you genuinely pause with 20 seconds, it's going to feel excruciating to have a 20-second pause. Most people start saying something when there is an quote unquote awkward pause. Let that be your patient who's talking, not you. Listen to what she's saying. Listen to what he's revealing to you. That is the reason why they're there. That is the reason how you're going to position your treatment, and they will instantly start their treatment with you. I'll give you an example. One of my general dentistry clients did that method with her new patient. She had this woman that came and her teeth were in terrible shape. Like, quite honestly, they were just almost bummed out, all of them. And instead of brushing it off and just saying, okay, well, we're going to need, unfortunately, some extractions here, and there's a lot of calculus, she looked her straight in the eyes, my client, and asked, what is going on? Your teeth are not in good shape. Tell me, what is going on? And first, the patient brushed her off and said, oh, I've just been very busy. There's been a lot going on. The dentist didn't just say, oh, okay, let me do my measurements. She stayed there and she said, tell me more. And so the patient revealed that her husband has been hospitalized and is in a ventilator, so she's afraid for his life. So she hadn't had time to focus on herself or anything else. They're literally fighting for his. And so not only you just helped a human being release emotion and feel seen and accepted, but also my dentist client then said, okay, you need these extractions, you need these crowns. Let's take care of your mouth because you cannot afford to be in pain in the middle of the night. Your husband needs you. You need to be in top shape so you can be around him. That patient signed a $30,000 contract. And we haven't sold her anything she doesn't need. She needs that care, but she also had that barrier of saying yes to herself when her husband needs money, needs time, needs attention so much. How many moms here in the audience are listening to this and you're putting yourself last, way after your children, even after your husband, after your patients? You are somewhere at the very, very end. Be honest, show of hands. And if somebody saw you and somebody asked, tell me more, why is this going on? Of course you would trust that provider. Of course you would use that permission to invest in yourself as an opportunity for your own growth. Of course you would say yes to treatment. So next time you are walking into a consult, I want you to take a beat. I want you to take a deep breath. I want you to center on what the transformations that you're creating. It's not just crowns, it's not just root canals, it's not just braces. You're transforming people's lives, quite frankly. You are strengthening marriages. You are putting them in better jobs. You are allowing them to grow the confidence to apply for a job, to have a relationship, to go to a better college. You help people feel better about themselves when they're not hurting and their teeth looking better. That's what you do. That's what we sell as dentists. And you need to own it. And I understand how easy it is to forget when you're busy and when you're jumping from chair to chair. That's why boutique model. That's why moving away from volume and towards this more premium model. And the next time you go into exam, take a deep breath. Remember the kind of transformation that you do. And when you're asking your patient why they're there, I hope you're doing, don't just look at the chief complaint written in the medical history. Pause and ask, tell me more. Have a beautiful week, my friends. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.